Anta Saraswati Thakur Goswami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki jai. प्रेम से कहो जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड श्री गिरिवर्धन की जय। ब्रजभूमि श्री वृंदावन धाम की जय। मायापुर नवद्वीप धाम की जय। द्वारका मथुरापुरी धाम की जय। पुरुषोत्तम क्षेत्र श्री जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय। गंगा माई की जय। यमुना माई की जय। भक्ति देवी की जय। कृष्ण भक्ति प्रदायिनी श्रीमती तुलसी महारानी की जय। कलयुग पावन श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन यज्ञ की जय। श्री श्री निताय गौर चंद्र भगवान की जय। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to Sri Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna. So we are reading from Srimad-Bhagavatam, Canto 5th, chapter number 14, verse number 13, text 13. So I'll read this shloka word by word, and you can repeat after me. Ekadasat prasangana nikrita mater vyodhaka shrotaha skhalanavad ubhyatopi dukkhadam pakhandabhiyati. Ekada sat prasangana nikrita matir vyudaka shrotaha skhalanavad ubhyatopi dukkhadam pakhandabhiyati. Word to word translation. Ekad, sometimes. Asat pasangat, by association of non-devotees who are against the Vedic principles and who manufacture different paths of religion. Nikratamatihi, whose intelligence has been brought to the abominable status of defying the authority of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Vyudakashrotaha, into rivers without sufficient water. Skhalanavat, like jumping. Ubhayataha, from both sides. Api, although. Dukkhadam, giving distress. Pakhandam, the atheistic path. Abhiyati, he approaches. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Translation. Sometimes, to mitigate distress in this forest of material world, the conditioned soul receives cheap blessings from atheists. he then loses all intelligence in their association. This is exactly like jumping in a shallow river. As a result, one simply breaks his head. He is not able to mitigate his sufferings from the heat, and in both ways he suffers. The misguided conditioned soul also approaches so called sadhus and swamis who preach against the principles of Vedas. He does not receive benefit from them, either in the present or in the future. Purport: cheaters are always there to manufacture their own way of spiritual realization. To get some material benefit, the conditioned soul approaches these pseudo sannyasis and yogis for cheap blessings, but he does not receive any benefit from them, either spiritual or material. In this age, there are many cheaters who show some jugglery and magic. They even create gold to amaze their followers, and their followers accept them as God. This type of cheating is very prominent in Kali Yuga. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur describes the real Guru in this way: Samsara dhava lalidhaloka tranaya karunya ghana ghanatvam praptasya kalyana gunanavasya vande guru Sri Charanaravindam. One should approach a guru who can extinguish the blazing fire of this material world, the struggle for existence. People want to be cheated, and therefore they go to yogis and swamis who play tricks. But tricks do not mitigate the miseries of material life. If being able to manufacture gold is a criteria for becoming God, then why not accept Krishna, the proprietor of the entire universe, wherein there are countless tons of gold? As mentioned before, the color of gold is compared to the will-o'-the-wisp or yellow stool. Therefore, one should not be allured by gold manufacturing gurus, but should sincerely approach a devotee like Jarabharat. Jarabharat instructed Rahugana Maharaj so well that the king was relieved from bodily conception. One cannot become happy by accepting a false guru. A guru should be accepted as advised in Srimad-Bhagavatam 11.3.21. Tasmad gurum prapadyeta jidnyasu shreya uttama. One should approach a bona fide guru to inquire about the highest benefit of life. Such guru is described as follows: Shabde paracha nishnatam. Such guru does not manufacture gold or juggle words. He is well versed in the conclusion of Vedic knowledge. Vedaischa sarvair aham eva vedyah. He is freed from all material contaminations and is fully engaged in Krishna's service. If one is able to obtain the dust of the lotus feet of such a guru, his life becomes successful. Otherwise, he is baffled both in this life and in the next. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाखया चक्षुरोन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं। श्रीचैतन्य ईश्वरं परमानन्दमाधवं। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी निति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। 。 。 。 。 。 。 。 。 。 。 。 . 。 。 . 。 。 . 。 。 . 。 。 。 。 。 . 。 。 。 。 。 。 。 。 。 。 。 。 。 。 。 。 。 。 。 。 。 。 。 . 。 。 . 。 . 。 Hare Krishna. So this purport is very interesting. Srila Prabhupada is giving different arguments. If the gold manufacturing is the criteria of becoming guru, then one should accept Krishna as the supreme guru, because Krishna is the origin of all the gold manufacturing in the world. One time, one disciple of Prabhupada, he came to Prabhupada and he told Prabhupada that, Prabhupada, there is one yogi next to the river, and he's walking on water to cross that river. And whole village is assembled there to see how this yogi is walking on a water to cross that river. Can I go and watch there? And Prabhupada said, no. And Prabhupada said, this is foolishness. Because in order to cross that river, you can just pay few pennies and cross that river. Why are you wasting your life just to get that siddhi, mystic yoga, just to cross one simple river? Instead, and this mystic yoga is not helping you at the time of your death. Instead, if you could spend your time practicing devotional service, that will help you to cross the bhavasagar, the material ocean, very easily. So in today's session, we'll discuss mainly three topics. Firstly, we'll see how people look for cheap guru, because as Prabhupada said, that people want to be cheated, and that is why they are being cheated. There are some innocent people, but there are quite huge number of people who desperately want to be cheated, and that is why they are being cheated, and how people fall in this trap. And then we will discuss the qualities of a pure devotee, the Uttama Adhikari, or the Guru, because if disciple should also see if Guru is qualified enough or not, and then Guru also test if disciple is qualified or not. So it's a two-way process. So disciples should have sufficient knowledge who should be the Guru, a pure devotee. And then finally, we will discuss, once we find a qualified guru, and if we surrender to the qualified guru, what kind of a mistake that we should avoid in order to progress nicely in the spiritual path. So as this verse suggests, people, in order to avoid or mitigate the distress in forest of material world, they take different kinds of a shelter, because this place is a place of a misery. And it is explained that there are four types of people approach the Lord: artho, artharthi, jnani, jidnyasu. And people take different shelters because of the problems in this material world. Jai Shri Srinitaya Gaurachandra Bhagwan ki Jai. Those people who do not believe in the existence of God, apparently they call themselves as atheists, they still have to take shelter of something supernatural. For example, they will take a shelter of some fantasy movies, Disneyland, Harry Potter, etc. They will claim themselves that they are not believing God, but they have to take shelter, because to have an attraction of supernatural is natural. Some people, they fall prey to the intoxication. They'll take a shelter of intoxication, because this material world, the stressful conditions are too difficult to handle, and they will fall prey to the intoxication. They will drink alcohol, drugs, and whatnot. Some people, just to get free from the stress of this material world, they will go outside for the tourism. They will visit almost all the countries in the world. They will go hitchhiking, skating, skiing, whatever. Yeah. Some people try to find relationship. They'll try to find relationship girlfriend, boyfriend, then different friendships. And then some people, they will take shelter of religion just to get rid from the stress of this material world. But we should understand that just taking shelter of religion is not sufficient, because following religion does not mean that you are following bhakti. There is a difference between religion and spirituality. If you want to see the difference, you can read some more books. Yeah? But they are not, apparently they are, I mean, people in general, they use these two terms as a synonym, but they are not exactly synonyms. So people who are taking shelter of religion, they are also different categories: bhakti kami, mukti kami, siddhi kami. The people who take shelter of religion just for the material prosperity. Other people take shelter of religion just for the liberation, impersonal liberation. And there are some people who want to be very good in mystic yoga. Yogasana is nowadays very popular, is becoming popular. So the Siddhika, mystic yogis. But Prabhupada, he very categorically mentioned what is not bhakti. Prabhupada says, what is not bhakti? Bhakti is not a matter of sentimental speculation or imaginative ecstasy. This very profound statement that Prabhupada is saying. It's not a matter of sentimental speculation or imaginative ecstasy. I feel so peaceful when I chant this specific mantra. This is called imaginative ecstasy. We are just imagining that this is. And Prabhupada also mentioned that bhakti is also not idle meditation, just sitting in one place and Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. It's not idle meditation. Idle meditation is a process, that's true, but that process is only for those people who are not aware about the devotional service. If you are aware about the devotional service, then that is not, the idle meditation is not considered to be a bhakti. Then what is bhakti? Prabhupada is saying very nicely in Nectar of Instruction that bhakti is cultivation and bhakti is practical activity. It's not idle meditation. It's a practical activity. Anya bhilashita shunyam jnana karmadya anavrita anukulyen krishnanushilanam bhaktiruttamam. Bhaktiruttatam. Pure devotional service. Unalloyed devotion to Supreme Personality of Godhead. Anya bhilashita shunyam. Free from any extraneous motives. Jnana karma anadavrita, devoid of fruitive karma and impersonal jnana and any other processes. And anukulyan, this is important, anukulyan Krishna anushilanam. It is favorable to Lord Krishna, Krishna anushilanam. So bhakti ends all kinds of nonsensical mundane activity, and at the same time it cultivates meaningful devotional service in our life. That is bhakti. That is the definition of bhakti that Prabhupada is giving. And those devotees who are following this Anya Bhilashita Shunya, they are considered to be pure devotees, because these pure devotees, they are already on the platform of liberation. The pure devotees, they are already on liberation platform. Mam chayo vyabhicharena bhakti yogena sevate sagunan samatityaitan brahma bhuyaya kalpate. They are already situated on the level of Brahman, pure devotees. Avyabhicharanya bhakti, it is called unalloyed, no tinge of contamination. That is called pure devotee and pure devotional service. However, we know that these are the definition, and Prabhupada is speaking every now and then, and in Krishna consciousness movement, we also hear from many devotees that this is the standard that we have to follow. But still, many people, they are not able to come to this level. They are not able to follow what is expected to become a pure devotee. It's not so easy. I mean, it's easier said than done. And it is also explained in Chaitanya Charitamrita, because performing bhakti is extremely rare. Although it is liberating, it is blissful, but it is rare. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, it says, Brahmanda Brahmite Kona Bhagyavan Jeev Guru Krishna Prasad Paye Bhakti Lata Bij. The living entity is roaming one Brahman to one universe to another universe, Brahmanda Brahmite. So many lifetimes we have been roaming around. But just by the blessings and the mercy of Guru and Krishna, the blessings of mercy of spiritual master and Krishna, those fortunate soul can practice the bhakti. The Guru put that bhakti latabi, the devotional creeper starts to grow, the seed of devotional creeper. And Krishna also mentioned in Bhagavad Gita that ye yathamam prapadyanti tam tathaiva bhajamyaham mama vartamanu vartanti manushya partha sarvasaha. So Krishna is giving all kind of a literature to us. And Krishna is also telling that, as you surrender unto me, I will reward you accordingly. So Krishna is not forcing you that, hey, look, this is the perfect way and you have to follow this perfect way. No. Krishna is saying, whatever you desire, I shall reward you accordingly. And that is why Prabhupada is mentioning this statement in the purport that people want to be cheated. And that is why they are being cheated. Of course, there are some people who are in ignorance, but at least once in a lifetime, they hear our Krishna consciousness movement is so amazing that, at least we tell people that, this is how it should be. But it's up to us whether to accept that or not. People want material prosperity, health, wealth, car, wife. And then you desire for that, and Krishna provides that through his different agencies. He has appointed personalities like demigods, and then those demigods, those provide those material prosperities that you are desiring for. So sometimes people take shelter of a demigod, and sometimes they also take a shelter of semi-gods. What are semi-gods? Say me God. I am a god. So these so-called sadhus and babas who are claiming themselves to be God, semi-gods. So they take shelter of them, and then they get cheated. But we cannot blame them, because this is what you are desiring for. Ye yathamam prapadyanti. If your desire for pure, unalloyed devotional service, avyabhicharani bhakti, then Krishna will make all the facilities possible for you to perform that avyabhicharani bhakti, unalloyed devotional service. But if you are looking for material prosperity, health, wealth, wife, car, mobile, then Krishna will arrange things for you. And this world is filled with so many cheaters. You just go on the internet and write some spiritual words there, and you will find a list of cheaters there, right? Bhakti is not a matter of thing that you're going Google and you Google how to perform bhakti or what is this and what is not this. You'll find almost 70 to 80% of information on internet is false, because I can start my own blog and I can write whatever I feel like writing there. There is no verification there. Yeah. And unfortunately, India is a great country. That's true. It's a spiritual capital of the world. But it is also considered that it's a shopping mall. Just for our discussion, we can use this metaphor. It's a shopping mall of a religion. And in shopping mall, you find all sorts of things. In shopping mall, you get genuine things, very authentic things, and also you get some cheap copied things also. So it's up to us which things to be purchased. So in India, you will find some genuine religious practices, spiritual paths. There are so many sadhus and babas who are really genuine. But on the other hand, there are so many cheaters also. And we should be extremely careful to approach these so-called spiritualists or religious people. Because in shopping mall, you can purchase branded iPhone original, and you can also purchase duplicate iPhone. Recently I was somebody gifted, my wife, she gifted me those AirPods of Apple. And then one devotee showed me the exact copy of the Apple iPod, which is not from Apple, but it is produced by some other manufacturer. And to my surprise, these duplicate AirPods, it was having serial number also. It was also mentioned that it is designed in California and assembled in XYZ country. Yeah. So you can find all kind of duplicate things in shopping mall, right? And you can also find some dangerous things in shopping mall. For example, alcohol or cigarette, or sometimes the things which are not good for your health. You can find those things also in shopping mall. It's up to you which things you are purchasing. Now, whether to purchase original iPhone or duplicate product of that iPhone, it depends on how much money you have, right? If I have I don't have sufficient money, then I'll go for a duplicate product. So similarly, if I don't have sufficient money, sufficient credits, then I will go for a duplicate guru, duplicate sadhu, or duplicate baba, right? And what is the money that is required to get a genuine guru? We have to follow the instructions. So this is the fee that we need to pay in order to get genuine association of the guru. If you want to have a genuine association of a genuine guru, then we must follow his instructions. But if we don't want to follow his instructions, then we can go for a cheap sadhu or baba, duplicate sadhu or baba, who say, okay, you do whatever you want, just pay me some fees, and that's it, and you are my disciple, right? So you have to approach to genuine school of thoughts, and there are some genuine school of thoughts, but at the same time there are quite many cheater schools also available, and we must be extremely careful, especially while searching for a spirituality and while searching for a genuine guru. Sometimes people just want to have a guru for the fashion sake. Nowadays, having a guru is also a fashion. If you go to somebody's house, then they just tell you, no, okay, so this is my house, this is my car, this is my mobile, this is my TV, this is my watch, and this is my guru. They have some photo frame in their home, and they show, this is my guru. So guru should not be a fashionable object. Everyone is having guru, so that is why I also want to have a guru. This is strongly condemned by Srila Prabhupada in several occasions. And guru is not a object of a fashion. Yeah. There was one guru and his disciple, spiritual master and his disciple, and so spiritual master, the guru, asked his disciple, hey, look, it apparently seemed that it's going to be raining outside, so could you please go and take those cloths in, so that the cloths we kept outside for a drying to in. So the disciple said, it's not yet raining started, so why to go outside? Okay, and then guru asked, okay, but then it's very, it's getting darker now, so could you please close all the doors and windows? And then disciple said, well, what will do we have? Why the thieves would come in our home and then steal anything? We don't have anything, so what is the need to close the door and window? And then toward the night, guru said, okay, now it's a time for sleeping. Could you please switch off those lights? And then disciple said, if you could just close your eyes, then you will see darkness, and then you will go to sleep. What is the need to switch off those lights? So this is the classic example of cheater guru and cheater disciples. Yeah. One of my friends, It's a real incident. Just last week or 10 days before, I was talking with him. He's abroad now. We were having a video call, and while having a call, he was just eating. And I knew that he used to eat meat earlier days when we were child. But then later on, he came into the association of one guru, and then he gave up meat eating. And then I was asking, no, what are you eating? Are you eating meat or what? And he said, yes, because my guru said, yes, you can eat meat now, no problem, because you're going abroad, and in abroad you don't have anything else to eat but to meat. So I got authorized permission from my guru to eat meat. Yeah. So these are the examples. People want to be cheated, and that is why they are being cheated. Some gurus may say, okay, you can eat meat, but just don't eat cow meat, because cow is very sacred. Just don't eat cow meat. But you others animals you can eat nicely. Or somebody will say, oh well, just don't eat meat on Tuesdays and Fridays. Other days it's possible you can eat meat. Or somebody would say, just try to avoid intoxication as far as possible, but if you have a really strong desire, then you can smoke only one cigarette. That's okay, that's authorized now, smoking one cigarette. Now these people, they don't forget that lusty desires, they are like a fire, and providing facilities for lusty desire is like putting ghee in a fire. It will not extinguish that fire, rather it will just uh, facilitate the fire. It is mentioned in the scriptures. Somebody would say, do whatever you want, just chant my name, not Krishna's name, chant that guru's name, and do whatever you want. I'll protect you, ma shucha. I'll protect. They will also quote from the scriptures, ma shucha, I will protect you. And then some semi-gods, they would say, sambhog se samadhi tak. That means you enjoy your body as much as possible, and then you will reach to a stage where you will be frustrated with your bodily enjoyment, and then you will reach the samadhi. Then you will go and reach to the place for a higher inquiry. You will go in a trance. Yeah. So, but they don't understand that once people are exhausted or frustrated with their bodily enjoyment, then they will start to look for something more to enjoy. They will not reach to this trance level. They will start to look for something else, something more, and that is why they are falling into the trap of some unnatural enjoyments that we are seeing around, unnatural way of enjoying our body, because they are frustrated with their natural way of enjoyment. So this lusty desire, they will not extinguish just by you are over enjoying it. Somebody would say, do whatever you want, just give me some donation. That's it. If you give me a donation, then yathechasi tatha kuru. Do whatever you want. So these are the misquotation of the scriptures. So these false sadhus and Baba, they are even quoting or misquoting the scriptural references. They are taking it out of context and then quoting it, and then people, innocent people, they fall prey to them. So that is why it is extremely important to see who real guru is, who pure devotee is. And Srila Rupa Goswami, he has described the characteristics of real guru, the real pure devotee in Nectar of Instruction, which begins with the qualities who can be a guru. Vacho vegam manasa krodha vegam jivha vegam udaropastha vegam etan vegam yo vishahet dhiraha sarvamapimam prithvim sashishyat. A sober person who can control the urges of a vacha, speech, who can control the urge of a speech, who can control the demands of his mind, who can control the actions of his anger, and jivha vegam, and who can control the urges of tongue, belly, and genital. They are located in a straight line, tongue, belly, and genital. who can control all these urges, then that person is qualified to make disciples all over the world. Sarvam apimam prithvim sashishyas. So this is the characteristic of a person who can become a guru. And we need to understand before approaching a specific guru, then if the next person is having those qualities or not. So these are the uh, things that which are very important for spiritual advancement, because the unless you control your mind and senses, then it is very difficult to advance in spiritual life. Yeah. And people, they do all kinds of atonements, just to nullify the effect of their sinful activities. But having those atonements without the control of mind and senses is useless. Right? So that is why we should have minds control over our mind and senses. And Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he's saying that the person who is able to control these six urges, vacho vegam, manasa krodha vegam, jivva vegam, udaropastha vegam, urges of control of speech, mind, anger, tongue, belly, and genital, who can control all these six urges, that person is called tapasvi. So that person is called tapasvi, and the person can perform that tapasya. And what is the tapasya? He's saying, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he is saying, tapasa brahmacharye na shamena cha damena cha tyagena satya sauchabhyam yamena niyamena va. So who is tapasvi? Who can perform the austerity, tapasa, brahmacharyena, who can remain celibate, shamena cha damena cha, who can control mind and senses, and tyagena satya shauchabhyam, who is able to renounce everything, and with the cleanliness and with the yoga and asana. So these are the traditional way of doing tapasya. And there are some pancharatrika way of a tapasya that is based on devotional services, devotional activities, which are very nicely facilitated in Krishna consciousness movement, different do's and don'ts. What are don'ts? The four regulatives that we are performing in Krishna consciousness life. And what are the do's? Practice the bhakti under the bona fide spiritual master in association of the devotees. The person who is following these do's and don'ts can also be considered as tapasvi, because that person is also following the tapasya. Right? And the guru must be learned, and he should have a title of a Goswami. I mean, this many people, they're using the title of a Goswami. Goswami means who is controller of his senses, who is a master of senses. That is Goswami. But we see many people, they wrongly using this title Goswami. They don't have a control over their mind and senses, and they are seeing themselves as a Goswami. They are not Goswami, but they are Godasa, who are the servants of the mind, servant of the senses. So as we know this, Bhakti, Jai Shri Srinitaya Gaur Chandra Bhagwan ki Jai. So as we know this, Bhakti is extremely rare, and only with the mercy of Guru and Krishna. Brahmanda Brahmite Kona Bhagyavan Jeev Guru Krishna Prasad Paya Bhakti Lata Bij. Only with the mercy of a spiritual master and Krishna, very few lucky people, we are lucky actually that we are connected with the Prabhupada's movement. So only those lucky people, they are able to find a genuine Guru. So we are so fortunate that we are able to come in this moment, and we find we can at least see who real Guru is in our movement. But we should not take Guru so cheaply. Guru is not. We should also be careful. That although we have a genuine Guru in front of us, we may surrender to that Guru, but after some time we may start taking that Guru's instructions so cheaply. Right? Guru is not Google. Right? For any question, we just go to the internet and type the question in Google. Guru is not like, asking any sorts of nonsensical questions. Guru is not a Google. Even, sometimes people funnily say, if you want to check if your computer or mobile has internet connection or not, the very first site you type there in URL link is Google. So Google is also a way to check if your machine is having internet connection or not. So Guru is not like that. Yeah. So, and Guru is also not a problem solving machine. You have so many problems, you just go and ask, "No, I have this problem, that problem, that problem, that problem." He's not a problem solving machine, or he is not a sin eater person. I have committed so many sins. Now I will take Diksha, I will take initiation, and then it's responsibility of my Guru to take all to eat all the sins that I have incurred. So he's not a sin eater person. So Guru is a person who is connecting conditioned soul like us to Supreme Personality of a Godhead. He is a connecting link between Lord and us. He is actually vouching for us. He is talking to the Supreme Personality of a Godhead, Krishna, that, look, this person, he is sincere. He or she is sincere. And please give your shelter to that person. So he is the person who is speaking on our behalf to the Krishna, because we don't have access to Krishna, and we are neither qualified also. We are not qualified to go back to Godhead. It's only because of the mercy of the Guru we may think of going beyond this material creation. Otherwise, we don't have qualification. Sometimes somebody asks Prabhupada, what is our qualification that we'll go back to God? Prabhupada says, you don't have any qualification. I made you qualified. So this is the position of Guru. So, and Guru is Uttama Adhikari. He is a pure devotee. He is self-realized. He is continuously engaged in the Lord's service. This is the Guru. Guru is completely freed from all kinds of anarthas. He's following all the regulative principles very strictly. And Guru, he talks because of his purity. Whatever he speaks, that directly touch to the heart of the next person, and because of that, he converts many people into Vaishnavism, and he has that capacity to expand Krishna consciousness movement. And the most important property, characteristic of a Guru, is he is uncritical. He is not criticizing anybody, and he is offenseless. He is not committing any offenses to anybody. Sometimes we may see that Guru, they do criticize, but that criticism is not for their own enjoyment. Even if the Guru criticizes, he does it without any false or ego or envy. He's not jealous of anybody to criticize. And even if he criticizes, he's feeling he's doing that thing out of a great pain. He's not taking pleasure in criticizing somebody. We do take pleasure in criticizing somebody. Yeah. So Guru is not taking pleasure in criticizing anybody else. Or sometimes he may have to criticize just to protect the faith of neophyte devotees. Prabhupada would do that during initial days of Krishna consciousness movement. Just to protect the faith of neophyte devotee, Guru can criticize. And Guru is criticizing sometimes because of the principle of hate the deceased, not the deceased, right? Sometimes we also say that while spending few years in Krishna consciousness movement, I am also uncritical. I don't criticize anybody, but we don't criticize, and that doesn't mean that we are pure devotees. We don't criticize because of the fear of backlash. We know that if we criticize, then it is dangerous for me. And we have that tendency of criticism, but we are just trying to suppress those tendencies. But those tendencies are not there in the pure devotees. Those tendencies are not there in Uttama Adhikari, who is Guru. So we should take shelter of such a great devotee, such a Guru, and maybe we should desire for spiritual initiation. What is spiritual initiation? Spiritual initiation means we are completely surrendering to such pure devotee. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is mentioned that Diksha Kale Bhakta Kare Atma Samarpan Sei Kale Krishna Tare Kare Atma Sam. Diksha Kale Bhakta Kare Atma Samarpan. Atma Samarpan, complete surrender, total surrender unto the service of Guru and ultimately to the service of Krishna. And then say Kali Krishna Tare, then Krishna will protect you, and Krishna is saying that Kare Atma Sama. Then Krishna protects and accept you as good as himself, he himself. So this is spiritual initiation, that is complete surrender to the lotus feet of spiritual master. And Srila Jiva Goswami also in Bhakti Sandarbha, he mentions that the quality of a person who is desiring for taking spiritual initiation. The person should desire for spiritual initiation when he is disinterested in material enjoyment. Of course, we will never reach to that stage, but at least we should aim for that. Disinterested in material enjoyment and interested in spiritual life. And that person should be prepared for tapasa brahmacharyena shamena cha yamena cha tyagena satya shauchabhyam yamena va niyamena va. Following this, austerity, celibacy, tyaga, sannyasa, and then cleanliness and other things. So person should be desirous of spiritual life, and that person can totally surrender unto the lotus feet of a spiritual master. And I'll just talk about 5 minutes and then we'll conclude. So sometimes we know who is genuine guru, and we are also inclined to take shelter of the genuine guru. But after spending few years, sufficient time in Krishna consciousness movement, we also tend to make some offenses towards the guru and toward the pure devotees. So we should also be careful to avoid those offenses. Now we should sometimes we just see that some pure devotees, they have some bodily problems, they are becoming old. So this is old guru, this is young guru. So we should not think like that. They have some problems in pronunciating specific words, or sometimes they just forget specific shloka, and then we think that how can this person forget shloka, right? So we should not try to find try to see the guru or the pure devotees with a material vision. It is say like Ganga basam buddha phena pankhai. That means the Ganga's water is very purifying, has a potency to take you back to Godhead. And during rainy season, this river Ganga's water is filled with a lot of mud and foam, but still it has that potency. So pure devotees body is considered to be a Ganga river. Apparently from material point of view, we may some deformities or some problems there, but still that person has a capacity. That person is not an ordinary person. He is not just made up of 5 elements that like we are made up of. Sometimes Srila Prabhupada, if you hear Srila Prabhupada's lecture, he was using Bengali accent to speak English, right? And so if we try to find faults in pure devotees, then it is very obstructive for our devotional service, the spiritual advancement. So we should be extremely careful. We should not offer advice to a pure devotee or a spiritual master, just like that example. It's you just close your eyes and then you will automatically see the darkness. We should not advise to a pure devotee or to a guru. We should not criticize a pure devotee. We should not correct pure devotee, because whatever they are talking, it is true. It may not be perceivable for us that how can this person speak like that. I cannot understand, but that doesn't mean that that is not true. So we should not correct pure devotee. And in this way, we should be extremely careful to avoid these Vaishnava aparadha, Vaishnava offenses, which are very obstructive and dangerous for our spiritual advancement. And because of our ignorance and forgetfulness, we are distracted by Maya, and we should always remind ourselves that I should not be distracted by Maya, because if we are not careful, then Chaitanya Charitamrit also mentions that Krishna bhuliya jiv bhogavancha kare nikataste maya tare jhapatiya dhare. Krishna bhuliya jiv. If I came in Krishna consciousness just to be Krishna conscious, right? And if we forget this principle that being a Krishna conscious in Krishna consciousness movement, then Krishna bhuliya. If you forget the Krishna consciousness, then Krishna bhuliya jiv bhogavancha kare. Then we are looking for a happiness even inside the moment, material happiness inside the moment. And then nikataste maya, Maya just sitting next to you. Don't be under the illusion that we have surpassed the Maya, we have transcended the Maya. No, we haven't transcended. Maya just is sitting next to you. Nikataste Maya tare jhapatiya dhare. And she will catch you like a no, jhapatiya. She's not just, this word is like a jhapatiya. She's not just catching, but catching like a cat catching a rat. So fast, jhapatiya. And you will not even realize that how I threw away from this Krishna consciousness movement. So we should be extremely careful, and we should always remember the summary of all the Vedic literature, especially for Gaudiya Vaishnavism, that our only Swarup is Jivhera Swarupa Hai Krishna Nityadas. So this is my position. Jivhera Swarupa Hai Krishna Nityadas. I am a servant of the servant of the servant of the servant of Krishna here. And when we remember this thing, then there is some chance that we may be able to achieve the higher perfection. Of course, our Guru and Srila Prabhupada, they have tremendous amount of a capacity. So we should not question their capacity that, I'm so fallen that even Prabhupada cannot deliver me. So we shouldn't think like that. No, I don't have any capacity to cross over this material ocean, but I have a full faith in Srila Prabhupada and his disciples and the spiritual master that they will help me out to cross over this material ocean. So we'll stop here. Thank you all very much. Hare Krishna. Jai Grantharaj Srimad-Bhagavatam ki Jai. Do you have any question or comment? Hare Krishna. Yes.
You mentioned about Uttamatikari. Pure devotee can Kanishtatikari. Can he also be pure devotee? Madhyamatikari. Can he be pure devotee? And can Madhyamatikari or Kanishtatikari be a guru also?
Yes. So this is a very nice question. So the question is for our online audience, what are the characteristics of Kanishta Adhikari and Madhyama Adhikari, and can Kanishta Adhikari or Madhyama Adhikari become a guru? We should understand that this Kanishta Adhikari, Madhyama Adhikari and Uttama Adhikari, these are different levels. So we'll see what are the characteristics of Kanishta Adhikari. Kanishta Adhikari means Prakrita Bhakta, means sorry, that person who is only interested in Krishna and me. There are quite many devotees are sitting here. They'll just come in, offer an obeisances to Krishna. Yes, we have direct relation. Don't care about any other devotees. Yeah. But if we see the literature, then without the association of a devotee, we cannot progress in spiritual life. Second characteristic of Kanishta Adhikari is very pliable faith. The faith is not fixed. I mean, come to the temple, listen from the devotees. Yes, I want to perform Krishna consciousness. But when you go outside and hear from somebody else, and yes, this is also true. That person was telling me wrong. Yeah, so the Kanishta Adhikari has very pliable faith. You may chant name of a Krishna, Hare Krishna mantra also, but the faith is very pliable, not very strong faith, yeah, and doesn't appreciate the association of devotee. So this is very preliminary stage, and almost all of us start from this stage, and many of us are already in this stage only. We are stuck to this stage only. Then next stage is Madhyamadhikari. The characteristics of Madhyamadhikari are mentioned is Prema, Maitri, Krupa, Karuna. Prema, the Madhyamadhikari, he has prema, love of Godhead. He loves the devotees. Maitri, he associate with the devotees. Yeah, prema for the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. He associate with the devotees. He appreciate the association of the devotees. He know that there are some devotees who has some grudges with me, and I don't like those devotees, but he will not speak it aloud. He knows what is good and what is bad, but he discriminate them, and he is very careful, Madhyamadhikari, and he will not speak it aloud. So having friendship, Maitri, and then Krupa, and then Madhyamadhikari, he is also uh, he's also helping other innocent people. If somebody comes with an inquiry, then Madhyamadhikari, he uh, becomes merciful to that person. And Karuna, he's also helping other people. So these are the characteristics of Madhyamadhikari. And then Uttamadhikari, we have already seen the character. And the knowledge, as far as knowledge is concerned, Madhyamadhikari's knowledge is not conclusive. He has inconclusive knowledge about the Shastras. He had heard from here and there from many sources. He heard from the many devotees, but he may not argue. He may not go outside and argue with some, let's say, some Mayavadis or some other people. He himself is convinced, but he is not able to argue with the other counterattacks. So his knowledge is also inconclusive, but he himself has a very strong faith. So this is important characteristic of Madhyamadhikari, that he has very strong faith in Krishna consciousness movement. And then we have already seen the characteristics of Uttamadhikari. He is uncritical, and then he is completely in the service of the Krishna, and he can convert many people into the Vaishnavism, and he has a conclusive knowledge of the Shastras. So these are the different characteristics of Kanishtadhikari, Madhyamadhikari, and Uttamadhikari. Generally, Uttamadhikaris are considered to be a guru, but even Madhyamadhikari can also become a guru. It's not said that Madhyamadhikari cannot become a guru. Definitely not Kanishtadhikari, but Madhyamadhikari can become a guru. But one should understand that whenever we are approaching a guru, then guru should be able to give more knowledge to the disciple. So guru should have reached progressively ahead than the disciple. So disciple should also be think this aspect in order to approach to the Madhyamadhikari as a guru. But most of the time, the guru is from the Uttamadhikari. I think this is the information that I have right now. Anything else would you like to ask?
I'm pretty empty of questions. I like to hear, but I've been reading Bhagavad Gita lately, and I maybe have a little misunderstanding about, does the super soul, is the super soul inside with liberated souls as well?
Yeah. So there are three. The question is the super soul who is residing in our heart is a liberated soul? So we should understand that there are three levels of reality. We are always talking about the higher truth, and higher truth is not Of course, higher truth is one only, but this single truth has different levels of reality. So there are three levels of a reality. Uh, Brahman, the impersonal form of the Lord, which is coming from the light emitted by the Supreme Lord Krishna, and then, or Vishnu. And then second aspect is Paramatma, who is residing in our heart. So Paramatma, the Supreme Lord Krishna, he is residing in heart of each and every living entity, not only in human, but in each and every living entity. And then Bhagavan, is Krishna, is a personal form. So the Paramatma who is residing in our heart is Supreme Lord himself. So he is beyond this concept of liberation and all those things. So he's beyond the three modes that we are entrapped in. Now somebody may say that if Paramatma resided in our heart, that means are we also Paramatma? So the answer is no. So we are not Bhagavan, we are not Paramatma. So there is Paramatma and Atma. So two personalities are there in our heart. Atma means we ourselves, soul, and then Paramatma, that is super soul. So soul and super soul, they're residing together. And then in Bhagavad Gita only, there is very nice analogies given that we as a soul, we are turning away from the super soul. So just like two birds are sitting on a tree, and then one bird is turned away from another bird, and this one first bird, like a soul, is eating some fruits and berries on that tree. Some berries are sweet. If he eats sweet berries, then he becomes happy and joyful. Some berries are bitter. If he eats bitter berries, then he's sad. So similarly, like that, we are happy if we see some things, and we are sad if we see some other unfavorable things. But we are turned away from the Paramatma. Once we turn toward the Paramatma, who is situated in our heart, then we will transcend this happiness and distress, which is characteristics of this material world. So there are two personalities, soul and super soul. We are soul, and Krishna or Vishnu Tattvas, they are super soul, who is residing in our heart. And that is why we are offering obeisances to all the Vaishnavas, and we are respectful to all the people, all the living entities, because we are seeing Paramatma in their heart. We are not envious about anyone. It is mentioned also that a pure devotee who gives respect to dog eater, male, female, this person, that person, every living entity equally. Because pure devotee sees soul, pure devotee sees Paramatma in each and everyone's heart. Is that okay?
Yes.
Hare Krishna. Anything else?
Maybe not.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. Grantaraj Srimad-Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Murari Prabhu ki jai. Gaura.